Hello everyone, I'm Tianyu Yang, and today we want to discuss about some quick introduction to some frequently used option strategies. I will present about 30 strategies that are commonly used by everyone that hold different kinds of portfolios, no matter individuals or institutional. We can all use these strategies to trade on different market situations. So firstly, I want to say options are good, are challenging, and are also very technical. It's good because we can profit in all the bullish, bearish, and volatile market conditions, and we have various strategies corresponding to each kind of market condition. And most importantly, we are able to control more asset with smaller amount of money. This is a major goal of why using options to trade. It is not simply a kind of gamble to purchase those all of the money options that are completely consisted of time value and volatility premium. Our major goal is to control more assets with smaller amount of money by applying a linear leverage instead of a uncontrollable nonlinear leverage. And also options are very technical and quantitative. We must have a quantitative mind and have some mathematical sense, or develop some trading models or algorithms to assist with our trading. And also, options trading is very risky, and your profitability is controlled by a lot of risk factors. So my major goal of doing this presentation is firstly to present a quick overview of some frequently used option strategies in different market conditions and how they are related to each other and how they are different from each other. Secondly, this presentation might be especially beneficial for those individual traders with not very sufficient experience and relatively small account value. They want to use some of their money to gain some trading experience and to gain more knowledge on trading. And this video hope to help you gain more insight into which strategy to use under what market conditions, what underlying stock performance, and what your judgment is. And combine it with your actual trading practice, you can gain more experience on options trading. And another goal is to help more experienced traders gain more insight into strategies and look for if there are any strategies that sounds especially profitable if you recall your experience, or when you analyze the current market, you might say, oh, this strategy is especially suitable for my this underlying stock. So this might be kind of useful for as in this perspective. I include about 30 strategies in this presentation. What I didn't include including option strategies that need you to long your underlying stock, such as covered blah 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 or synthetic blah 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 and collar. I didn't include this because our major goal is to control more assets with relatively small amount of money. So in order to do this, we don't want a long stock since it's different from our goal. However, the strategies like cover calls and synthetic forward, they are pretty good option strategies. If you definitely want to study those strategies, and they can be especially beneficial if you want to preserve your account value. And we didn't include option strategies with that shows a naked position, such as naked put, naked calls, and short straddle, short strangle, and ratio spreads that include more sales than buys. Also, something like short guts, long combo, short combo, etc. Since if you do naked position for most brokers, they will need you to include 100 underlying stock or 100 times strike price. So this can be quite expensive in comparison with your profiting potential. So I didn't include this in my presentation. However, all of these are pretty good strategies, and if you are trading using a large account, or you are very confident that maybe the put is gonna expire worthless, or the call is gonna expire worthless, you can use those naked strategies, and yeah, these are pretty good strategies to use. And also there are some strategies that are quite confusing about whether they are bullish or bearish, such as a bullish call or bullish call ladder, bullish put ladder, bearish call ladder, and bearish put ladder. So these strategies, they are very complicated and not so easy to adjust. And also I haven't practiced, I don't have any experience using these strategies, so I'm not certain about their profitability. However, these might turn out to be pretty good strategies, but due to my inexperience, I don't want to, I'm not including those in here. Okay, so an overview of our strategies include the following. Bullish strategies, including a long call, a bull put spread, which is a put credit spread, a bullish call spread, which is a call debit spread, a diagonal call or diagonal put, which uses different strike price and different expiration date, a modified butterfly, which is a variation from the simple butterfly strategies, and is modified that the middle strike is closer to the higher strike than to the lower strike. A call ratio spread, which uses more long calls than short calls, and a strap, which is simply a long position of more calls than put. Bearish strategies, we include a long put, a bearish call spread, which is a call credit spread, a bearish put spread, which is a put debit spread, a put ratio spread, which includes uses more long put than short put, and also a modified butterfly, which is a modification of the simple butterfly option, which is the middle strike is closer to the lower strike than to the higher strike. A strip, which is simply consisted of long positions with more put than call. And direction neutral strategies. For direction neutral strategies, we have two kinds of strategies. One of them, we can profit if the option is bounded, if the underlying stock is bounded to a range, such as long iron Condor, long call Condor, long put Condor, and long call butterfly, long put butterfly, which these should be pretty familiar to everyone. And calendar call, which uses options with the same strike but different expiration date. You definitely hope it to stay in the specific range for you to profit, or if you decrease in value. And calendar put, which uses put option. And the next category is for direction neutral strategies that you can profit if the underlying stock make a big movement, such as a straddle, a strangle, a gus. These can be called brothers, since straddle, strangle, gus, they are just using a call and a put, which then the straddle is in the money, the strangle is out of money, and the straddle is at the money, the strangle is out of money, and the gus is in the money. So you can see these are from cheap to expensive. Their price are different, but their goals are somewhat the same. But however, they can they can show different functions and different performances under different conditions. Such as if you are going through earnings, you definitely want to have less exposure to the volatility risk and time decay risk. So we may want to consider the gods, which is they are both in the money call and put, so they have less volatility and volatility premium and time value. So even if it experiences volatility crash, there you might your intrinsic value is still your intrinsic value. You will not experience a complete loss in your if you purchase a strangle, for example. And the others are just the inverse of the previous strategies, like a short iron counter, just do the inverse. In the short call counter, short put counter, short call butterfly, and short put butterfly. Okay, so let's first go into those bullish strategies. For the bullish strategies, we can divide them into three categories. The first one is the most risky strategies. In order to profit, your stock must make big gain or increase in volatility in order for you to profit. Such as a long call, your break-even will be the current strike price at plus your call premium. And the strip, since you are all doing the long position, your call must have enough gain to erase your loss in your put option. And a call ratio spread, which is you would definitely want to have your have your stock to go over a certain point, which is, if you are unfamiliar with this, I will introduce to you in the next slide. The second category is about the strategies that are protected from volatility and time decay, which is better compared to the previous three strategies. And these strategies will be consistently profitable if the stock grows steadily every week, which include the put credit spread and the call debit spread. And we will introduce this in the next slide. And the third category is strategies that are protected from the volatility and time decay, and it can be especially profitable if you expect the stock to stay bounded to a range or show some low volatility or make a modest or little amount of rise. These are the diagonal call and put and the modified butterfly, which is your maximum gain at expiration is only fixed to 1 point. It should be the point that you expect it to expire. So the first three risky strategies include the long call, a strap, and the call ratio spread. The long call is just easy. You purchase the right, but not an obligation to buy the stock at a certain strike price. And you should be aware of the time decay and volatility risk. So if you are just holding a long call, you may not want to hold it to the last week or two. And if you are just wanna have the options function as a fixed amount of leverage to control some more assets with relatively smaller amount of money, you can just your best way is to purchase a very in the money call, and it has a very few time values, and you are able to your call will move with the stock very quickly instead of not moving at all. This is just a long call. There's not too much to say about this. And the strap is consisted of one put option and two call options, which are at the same strike price. So you may want to do this if you are confident that the stock will make a big movement or it will increase in volatility, and or if you are not very sure about the stock will make a big upward gain, but you are confident that the stock will make a big movement. So this strategy can protect you from the downward movement of the stock, such as if the stock move in the adverse direction and the movement is so large that the gain in the put option can hedge your gain in the two call options. So if this is the case, this strategy can make you break even or even profit. So this is the only case that you may want to use this to you are confident that the stock will make a big movement, especially a upward movement, and you would not want to hold this into the last month of the option's expiration, since you are holding 3 option contracts. The time decay in the last month, especially the last week, can be very formidable, and you would never want to trade this through the earnings call. If there's a crash in volatility after the earnings call, you will suffer from extreme loss in your position. The third strategy is about a call ratio spread, and this is about one short call and 2 long calls, which is at a higher strike price. So by doing this, you may want to ensure that there must be a big movement in the stock and a big upward movement in the stock, and even if there's a negative movement in the stock, you will not suffer from too much loss. But however, you must make sure that the stock is not staying at your higher strike price, such as your maximum loss occurs if the stock expires at your higher strike price of your which is the strike price of your 2 long calls. If this is the case, it will be nothing fun, and you will definitely want to stop loss if you see that the stock shows low volatility and is very high probability of expiring at that strike price. Yeah. The other these strategies are relatively more conservative and are more suitable for consistent gains through every week or every 2 weeks or every month. The put credit spread is the strategy that I use the most frequently, especially in the bullish market conditions. This can turn out to be very profitable and very reliable. It is consisted of a short put and of a short put in the long in a higher strike price, and the long put in a lower strike price. So you have a long position in a cheaper put, and you have a short position in a more expensive put. This is the inverse from the call debit spread, which you long call at a you long call at a short you long call at a lower strike price and you short call at a higher strike price, which is by doing a long put at a by longing a cheaper put and selling a more expensive put, you will have a net credit in your account, and by doing the inverse on the call option, you will have a net debit on your account. This is why they are called these names. By doing the put credit spread, your goal is to have both of these two put options to expire worthless. So you will gain a lot of money from the more expensive put you are selling, and you have a much smaller amount of loss in the put you long. So you would definitely want to have your expiration the stock price at expiration to go beyond this strike price, and so in this case you will have the maximum gain. In an overall bullish market, and especially in a growing stock, in a stock that shows a growing trend, the probability that the underlying stock will expire on the Friday after market close to be higher than the expiration price in the previous Friday close can be very high, can be very higher than 0.5. So the expiration price on the so let's say this way, for every week the stock is moving to a higher price. If this is the case, you can have about a 40% of profit in your put credit spread in comparing to the collaterals you use. The collateral is the difference between these two strike price. So if you set your higher strike price to this week's stock expiration price, and if in next week the stock moves to a higher price, then you will make your maximum gain. However, you will definitely always want to remember to stop loss. If you, for example, if you see that the stock is moving below your lower strike price, then at this point, this spread is actually beneficial for you, since your lower strike put that you have a long position will have much more time value than the higher strike put you are selling. So at this time, you may want to sell. You may want to exit this position immediately. And if you see that there's another opportunity for owning this spread again, just maybe set this to another strike price. So the call debit spread is using a different direction. However, our goal is to have these two call options to expire at the to be fully in the money at the expiration. So both your lower strike price and the higher strike price, you will be in the money. So the difference between these two options at expiration is exactly the difference of these two strike price. So by the time you purchase, since these two options are consisted of different time values, their difference in option premium is definitely smaller than the difference in strike price. However, we would want to have this this difference to grow more and more until they reach the until this difference reach the difference in the strike price. Since so a good way of doing this is to have these two options equally spaced around our current stock price, and you are almost certain that the stock will grow in the next week. And as long as the stock grows over this strike price, both of these options will expire in the money, and you will earn also about 40 to 50% of your of the collateral you used. So by the time you purchase, this difference in the option premiums might be 50 to 60% of the difference in the strike price. But however, as the difference in these two options grow larger and larger, you will earn the rest amount of this difference, which is 40 to 50% of the collateral you use. The logic might be a little bit hard for this part, but however, if you have trading experience in the put credit spread or the call debit spread, you will quickly understand what I mean, and this will sound very reasonable. Okay, so the next strategy is about the diagonal call and diagonal put. The diagonal call is consisted of a long-term low strike long call and a short-term high strike short call. It is called diagonal because also both the term and the strike price are different. Since if you this is quite like a if you see the option chain, the rows are consisted of different strike price, and the columns are consisted of the different expiration dates. So this by doing this, you are kind of like choosing two options that are from the diagonals. They are different in the strike price and different in the expiration term. So by doing this, and for the diagonal put, is consists of a short-term lower strike put, and a lower strike short put, and a long-term high strike long put. By doing these strategies, you can be quite profitable if the stock moves a small range or moves a small range or shows slow volatility but has no apparent trend of going down. This is quite similar to a modified butterfly, which is it has the same formulation of a simple butterfly, but however, for example, for the call option, this is a long call. These are two short calls, and this is also a long call. This the middle strike is closer to the higher strike than to the lower strike, and and for this modified butterfly using put options, this is a long put, there are two short put, and this is another long put. This is also the middle strike is closer to the higher strike than to the lower strike. By doing this, at expiration, if your stock make a very big movement, you will have a expiration payoff at this point, which is almost at the break-even point. But so what you expect is that your underlying stock shows some low volatility and almost rebounded to a range. Or however, overall speaking, you're having a bullish outlook of your stock. You want it. You have a high belief that the stock will expire at this specific point. Okay, so this is a little bit different from the calendar calls, since for the calendar calls, even if the calendar calls and calendar put, even if the stock make a big upward movement, you are still losing a lot of money from it. And for if by doing the diagonal call and modified butterfly, we will reduce this loss, and it can be a pretty good strategy to use in the overall bullish market, but and in some value stock instead of some fastly growing or very highly volatile stock. You can use it on some value stock like Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, these technical giants, and worth more than 900 billion in market capitalizations. It's very unlikely that they will suffer a very big loss. Instead, unless the whole market is crashing, so you can do this on. However, the put and call debit, the put credit spread and call debit spread can also be pretty good strategies to use on this market condition and are on those big companies. It will depend on your own decision, your choice. For the bearish strategies, we also have three categories. The first one is the risky strategies. That is, the stock must make some big downward movement in order to profit. This includes the long put, a strip, and a put ratio spread. The second category includes strategies that are protected from volatility and time decay, and consistently profitable if the stock always has no sign of going up, which include the bearish put spread, which is a put debit spread, and the bearish call spread, which is a call credit spread. And it is protected from the volatility and time decay, and especially profitable if you expect the stock to stay bounded to a range and shows low volatility or make little gain, which is also the modified butterfly. This is another modification which the middle strike is closer to the lower strike than to the higher strike. The first three are the long put, the strip, and the put ratio spread, which is basically the inverse from our previous discussions on the bullish strategies. For the long put, there's nothing special to say. Your payoff will be looking like this, and your break-even point will be your current strike price minus your put premium when you purchase. And for strip, this is consisting of 2 long put and 1 long call. So also you are confident that the stock will make a big downward movement, but however you might also make a big movement in the inverse direction. So you don't do this through the earnings call, and don't hold this to the last month or last 2 weeks before option expiration. And these are similar to a strap. And the put ratio spread is which is also a 2 long put and 1 two long put and one short put at a higher strike price. You so you will have confidence that the stock will make a big downward movement, but however, you are very certain that the stock will not expire at this point, since this is the point that you will suffer from a very significant loss in the. You will not want to have your stock expire at your lower strike price. These are the similar logic to our call ratio spread. I will not mention too much about this. And the put debit spread and the call credit spread are quite similar to our bullish strategies. Just by doing a put debit spread, we are longing a more expensive put. We are longing a more expensive put at a higher strike price, and we are selling a cheaper put which is at a lower strike price. By doing a call credit spread, we are doing the inverse thing from doing a call debit spread, which is we long a cheaper call at a higher strike price, and we sell a more expensive call at a lower strike price. Therefore, we would hope that the expiration price will be of the stock will go below our lower strike price for both these two spread option strategies. And for the modified butterfly, it is modified in reverse direction. The middle strike will be closer to the lower strike than comparing to the higher strike. For this we are using call options. For this we are using put options, and this is our payoff at expiration. So we will hope the stock to make a slight downward movement or to stay bounded to a range, and choose this middle strike to the point that you are confident that the stock will expire at this point. This is based on your judgment and based on the historical volatilities and based on the market directions, and all depend on your analysis. So for the direction neutral strategies, some of them can be especially useful. For example, an iron condor. The iron condor is also an option strategy that I very frequently use. You would want to use this iron condor when you expect that the option is that the stock is bounded to a range, or especially in the case that the stock will make will make a smaller movement than the option premium shows. The option premium shows the people's expectation of the amplitude to which the stock will move. For example, before the earnings call, the stock can be very expensive. The options can be very expensive, since people are anticipating that the stock will make a very big movement. But however, in a lot of cases, the stock will the earnings report can pretty accurately reflect the stock's intrinsic value. Under this case, the stock will not make a very big upward or downward movement. If the stock has already if the stock price before the earnings is already accurately reflect the company's earnings per share, company's guidance, and company's market cap. If these are pretty accurate, the stock will not make such big movement. So, if you are highly confident about this, do an iron condor before the earnings call. If the company experiences if the option experiences a volatility crash, then you will have a significant amount of profit from doing the iron condor. If you a lot of people still straddles or strangles before an earnings call, but however, this can be highly risky since there are about maybe 50 to 60% of companies that experience a volatility crash, but the rest 40 or 50% of companies, they are not doing this. They actually have a very big movement on their stock after the earnings, and a lot of them have a even larger movement than the earnings. So if you are naked selling a strangle or straddle, and the company does have a very big movement, then the loss you suffer will also be very significant. This is so if you want to have high profitability in the event of a earnings volatility crash, or however you will want to control your loss to a very small level. Your best way is to do an iron condor before the earnings call, do iron condor through the earnings call. So since the option premium, it will be very expensive, and the probability that the company, that people expect the stock to stay at these 2 points after the earnings are very small. So if the company experiences a volatility crash and it actually stays at this point, if there's a very small movement, then you are earning an enormous amount of money. Since both of the put options and the call options go worthless from very expensive to almost worthless, you are almost earning both the option premiums difference on the two sides. Okay, so an iron condor is consisted of a put credit spread, which is a bullish put spread, and a call credit spread, which is a bearish call spread. By doing this, you are having a net credit in your account. So you will have a negative value in your account, and the maximum amount of gain is that the option the stock expires between these 2 points, and your account value goes to 0, since all these 4 options will expire worthless, and you will earn the option premium difference at the time you purchase both these 2 put options and these 2 call options. Variation of this iron condor is to all using call options and all using put options. Well, however, if you don't want to exercise options, you want them to all expire worthless, just do this iron condor. It can be very, very good option strategy to use. In a call, for a call condor, you are doing a lower strike price and middle strike price, and the next middle strike price. This is a long position, the short position, the highest strike price is a long position. So you are all doing it using call options and using 4 different strike price. The difference between these 2 and these 2 shall be the same, or you will have a bias toward either one direction. For the put condor, you also have a long position, short position, long position, using 4 different strike price, with these 2 and these 2 difference in strike price being the same. A call and put butterfly. This might be familiar to a lot of this we can actually understand this as the call counter and put counter, which these two strike price being the same, and these two also evenly apart. So these two are the same strike price, and these two are the same strike price. Then you will have a call and put butterfly like this. You will expect the stock. By doing this, you are highly confident that the stock will respond to a very small range, and you would want to since if it moves to either strike price on each side, there will be you will suffer from the maximum loss at expiration. This is apparently more risky than an errant counter, but if it actually if it actually expires at this point, it will have a much higher gaining potential than an errant counter or a call and put counter. So this is based on your judgment of the stock's volatility and the market direction. However, luck is also very important in doing this. The calendar call and put is consisted of buying a long put and selling buying a long-term put or call, and selling a short-term put or call or put, and at the same strike price. So by doing this, you expect that at the expiration of your short-term call and put, the stock price expires at this same strike price. Since all of these calls and put options are at the same strike price. If it expires exactly at this strike price, then you are earning everything from this short put, from this short position on this short-term call or put. Since by doing the at the money call or put, you're taking advantage of all its time value, since it contains the most amount of time values. But however, one bad thing about this is that compared to the diagonal call or diagonal put, is that if the stock goes in the positive direction, you will suffer from a loss. But however, by doing a diagonal call or diagonal put, if the stock makes a positive movement, you will not you will almost break even or even profit at expiration if you are doing a diagonal call or diagonal put. So you would highly expect that the stock to stay within a range. If you are doing a calendar call or calendar put, make sure to stop loss at some times. Yeah. The next category of strategies is direction neutral strategies that you can profit if you make the big movement, and if the stock makes some big movement, which is consisted of the straddle, strangle, and guts. These can be considered as brothers, since straddles are at the money and strangles are out of money, and guts are in the money. So we are actually doing a lower strike on the call option and a higher strike on the put option. So if you're highly confident that the stock will make a big positive movement or negative movement, you may want to do a strangle, and since this is at money call and put, this is out of money call and put. The strangles especially apply to the case that if you want to if you're confident that the stock will make a very big movement. But however, both a straddle and strangle are don't do this through the earnings, since it is very likely that it experiences an volatility crash, and if it happens, your strangle will both sides of your strangle will almost go to worthless, and if the volatility crashes, and the straddle is also almost the same case. So if you are not very confident that after the earnings event the stock will make a movement that is big enough, you can do a gas option, which is both in the money call and put. Even if since I've mentioned before that both these two options are almost all consisted of time are almost also consisted of intrinsic value and has very few time value consisted of comparing to the straddle and strangle. So even if there's a volatility crash or the stock moves to a reverse direction, you will suffer from a less kind of loss. But however, by doing the gas, you are spending more money on your options, and it is still a hedged position, and it can be quite expensive and not very efficient. So I don't recommend doing any of these through the earnings call. And the best strategy I recommend is to use a bullish spread or bearish spread if you think it will go to either directions, and it is completely protected from the volatility risk. And if you think that the stock will experience a volatility crash and it will almost remain the same after the earnings, then just do an iron condor. Okay. So these three are the short position versions of the iron condor, the call condor, and the put condor. You can see that all these positions are reversed, and it somewhat looks like this. And the short call and put butterfly is also the inverse position of the long call and put butterfly. You can see all these positions are inversed. This is a short put. This is a short call, two long calls, and another short call. This is all about put options, and this is what this is the short butterfly. So if you think that the stock is will make a very big movement and big enough, and that it will go over a certain point, like this or this and this or this, you can do a short iron condor or a short butterfly. But however, please remember that your maximum reward is always capped, and there's a limited amount of the maximum reward you can earn. So if you have reached or almost reached your profit target, please consider if you want to exit the trade or if you want to move to a more aggressive position. So if you're highly confident about the market, then feel free to move to a more aggressive position, such as move to a higher position like this. For example, if you see that it has already moved to this position and you're almost made your reach your profit goal, please feel free to also build a short butterfly at this point. Then if it continues to move toward this position, then it will continue to bring you more profit. But however, please to remember when to stop loss, and keep a be very responsive, be very uh, be very be very alert from the market directions. So you may not want to always keep an eye on the market for 8 hours per hour per day, or 3 or 4 hours per day. But however, if the market is doing something wrong, it is not what you expected, different from your underlying stock's performance in the way you expected, please remember to think about what has happened, and if you want to use a different strategy or just exit your option position. So which one is your favorite option position? And this can be, so we can see that options can be profitable in all kinds of market conditions. But however, why only about 10 to 20% of people of retail or individual traders, they are actually consistently profiting from the options trading, since the most important thing about options trading is to understand all those strategies and be sure to use the right strategy at the right conditions. By combining the market's direction, the underlying stock's performance, and your own judgment, and apply your judgment and combine with your understanding of these option strategies. Be flexible with all kinds of strategies. You can always attempt new strategies to see if it is profitable under this case, and if it is profitable under this kind of stock. So good luck on your trading and your on your work or your studies, and see you next time.